Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles. The Detroit Lions defeat the Los Angeles Rams 26-20 in overtime on Sunday Night Football in Week 1. Another great game. The Lions pull it out. They're 1-0. They're feeling it. The home crowd was just as pumped, just as much of an energetic environment as you can ever have in regular season football. I honestly think there's got to be this special blend of ingredients to make this type of atmosphere. It has to be a good sports city, but that hasn't won in a while. A good football city that hasn't won football in a long time. Getting behind a really fun team, not just a good team, but a fun team and a realistic Super Bowl favorite. And that is what is happening in Week 1 here in Detroit. It's awesome. It reminds me a lot of 2012, 2013 Seattle. And it's also happened. Kansas City had this, at the end of the 2010s there before they won their Super Bowl. It's fun. It's also exhausting. I honestly it's like this is such a big national team. Everybody's talking about the Lions. They are probably, the second or third team you talk about at the water cooler across the country. And it's like, it's exhausting when we were that. When Seattle Seahawks, Legion of Boom, Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, when we were that, I'm glad it happened in my 20s. I'm much more happy taking a boring old victory here. Talking about Seahawks for some reason, but, just we'll beat the Bo Nix Broncos and our Kingdom Retros. I'm hoping for a playoff berth, maybe. Who cares? We're here, got all the TVs in the house on because we got a 1-year-old wild man running around. You got to have all the TVs on. You don't know what room you're going to be in next. So, anyway, the atmosphere is crazy in Detroit. So fun. I'm rooting for them. The Rams are the ones who made this a game, though. The Lions, coming in as the favorites, coming in as the team with the higher Super Bowl expectations, they maybe should take a little criticism for letting this game get to overtime, letting the Rams, Stafford had his ankle rolled up on, they're missing their offensive tackles going into the game, their second string left tackle goes down, their left guard goes down, the Rams are just, Puka Nacua went down in an injury that doesn't look good. This game the Lions should have kind of rolled away with this. It should have been a party, and the Rams are still struggling in the red zone. It was 3-3, I think. 10-3 at half. I just remember the Rams had 3 points after 3 red zone trips, including an interception, a turnover on downs. You're just thinking, here we go again. But the Rams fought back. It was 17-3 after Jared Goff's really only positive play in the second half, which was a nice throw to Jamison Williams, who had a great day, 116 yards. So it's 17-3. Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp, remember, they're champions already. They got some good drives going, and Tyler Johnson made a big play, got a couple of penalties from Lions DBs, and they took the lead in this game, 20-17. It was just really impressive. What the Rams did today was really impressive, really gutsy. This was a Stafford gut check. Ironically, losing the game just as he did with the Lions all those years. This was a true Stafford performance. 317 yards, 34 for 49, and the loss. I know I'm talking about a Super Bowl champion there, but it's just funny because he's in Detroit, and this is what he always did in Detroit. Great game. Detroit gets to overtime. They kick that field goal, make it 20-20, and that overtime drive is going to be all that Motown needs to hang on to. Get on up. Just hang on to that overtime drive because it was a thing of beauty. The offensive line dominating. David Montgomery looking fantastic. 20-yard run, 9-yard run, couple of plays to Gibbs, and then it was just Montgomery for 8, Montgomery for 5, Montgomery for a 1-yard touchdown. Boom. just right up the middle for a hard-working Detroit town. Run it right up the middle. That was fun. That was fun. And like Chris Collinsworth said, it's sometimes just simple. Everyone in blue went in the end zone. Everyone in yellow was pushed back. That's pretty cool. As long as Detroit keeps that offensive line intact, you should be very excited. Hold on to that little piece there. I didn't feel like Jared Goff played that great today. I mean, the CBS headline right now that I'm looking at is Jared Goff outduels Matthew Stafford. I would disagree really hard on that. In fact, I would disagree in the wild card game if you said that. The better quarterback in both of those games was undisputably Matthew Stafford. Period. I will not. I'm such a an open-minded man. I'm not going to take arguments on that. Okay. And incidentally, you can argue with me because this is a monologue. But he did all he needed to do, and the Lions take it off. And they should be so excited about that overtime drive. Maybe less excited about Jared Goff's sort of slow start or just really kind of absent second half. Maybe not so excited. I hate to be harping on the Lions, but you're a Super Bowl favorite now. You're gonna get the nitpicks. This is part of it. You win, but you get nitpicked. Welcome to being a Super Bowl favorite. Their secondary, although, the beginning of the game, I think Mike Tirico really wanted to tell a story of an improved secondary. They kind of did the same thing they did in 2023. That's a bit of a concern because it's an entirely different group of people. We've been just team preview land, off-season preview land has just said Lions secondary fixed, right? Because they did everything you would want on paper. They traded for a star, Carlton Davis. They got a free agent veteran. They used their first 2 picks on corners, first and second round. And yet, huge chunk plays, penalties in the end zone, just worried about that Lions secondary. It's early. Both Rams and Lions could switch places theoretically, but just Lions, you're going to get nitpicked now. That's part of it. If anything, you should take this moment that in a dramatic win in Week 1 Sunday Night Football, you're getting nitpicked as the moment to recognize that you truly are one of the favorites for the Super Bowl. Mukilteo Football Show. This show is football everything. NFL history, legacy, within the ups and downs of the season. We've got shows Sunday, Monday, Thursday with my brother Kirk, after the primetime games. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Mukilteo Football Show is brought to you by the New York Giants, bestowed by the Hand of Sauron as the Urukai get blown out by the Sam Darnold Vikings in Week 1. Urukai. Those are the super orcs that Sauron made in Lord of the Rings, 2 Towers. All right, well, so what we usually do for this show, we talk about some Sunday best. We kind of review the primetime Sunday night game. We lead in with that, and then just 3 things out of the Sunday fire hose that I want to talk about. Then we're back tomorrow for Monday Night Football. We talk about Monday Night Football, and I usually wrap up with a few more overall Week 1 or that particular week thoughts. So in this Sunday, first of all, Week 1's the same every year. Got a bunch of nephews doing victory laps on Reddit and Twitter. When the Dolphins are down 17-7, when the Bears were down 17-0, when the Bills were down 17-3, these teams suck. I told you. This is why I always say blah, 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 blah. The NFL season humbles us all. You will not be spared. All you can do, if you're a person who makes predictions about the NFL season, is simply weather it and harden over time, like rings of a tree that carry over year to year. And slowly but surely, you're able to withstand your stupid predictions as they get slapped in the face. and you won't be taking such bold victory dances at halftime of week 1. Yeah, because the Dolphins came back. They beat the Jaguars, and I want to talk about that game for sure. I think the Bears are the more discussed thing right now, because the Bears, they were down 17-0 to the Tennessee Titans, who completely collapsed. And on the outside there, you would think, well, that's pretty fun. First overall pick, Caleb Williams, must have been fantastic. Must have clicked. Must have had some nerves and then clicked. No, Caleb Williams was terrible today. It was the weirdest win by the Chicago Bears. It's like, it could not have been more poetic for the city of Chicago and their football team. It's supposed to be this dawn of this new era with an actual passing offense. We got Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. We're supposed to have an actual passing offense for the first time in Bears history. And yet, this first victory, Caleb Williams looks like Rex Grossman Jr. Looks like Jim McMahon III. This was literally the "we are who they thought they were" game. When the Bears beat the Cardinals in 2006 Monday Night Football, look it up, they won the game without their offense. They won it through defensive and special teams touchdowns. And considering as a lowly Titans, I don't think we can take too much away from this. I'm not worried yet about Caleb Williams. I am a guy who gets worried early on these quarterbacks. But today, the way he played was pretty clearly a quarterback who needed to be kind of hit in the mouth and humbled a little bit. It was the classic, what used to be like the Heisman quarterback who comes into the NFL and has to learn all of these things, that timing is more important than the big play. The big play out of the impatient big play attempts. The not realizing, taking some of those sacks where it's like, Caleb, you're not running away from, a defensive end from San Jose State. This is an NFL player. He's going to tackle you. Those things, like, that feels like normal rookie stuff. I'm a little worried that, he didn't see this coming, or that he didn't kind of respect the game a little bit more, but it's still week 1. I'm willing to just kind of keep that water because those are such typical rookie problems. But I will be worried early. I'm one of those who say the good quarterbacks just look good. They just look good. You can see it. Maybe it's not perfect like MVP type seasons right off the bat, but you just see it. Even Josh Allen, who's like this beacon of, Josh Allen turned his career around. He was a fantasy darling his rookie year. Like, his rushing talent, his numbers, give me a break. I know he wasn't competing for the Super Bowl, but Josh Allen was an absolute darling his rookie year. So anyway, much more interested now. Well, I was always interested, but now I'm really interested on this this particular thread of what's going to happen on Sunday Night Football versus the Texans. Going to be a lot of time to talk about Caleb Williams in 1 week. Let's talk about the other one. The other comeback. Dolphins against Jaguars. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, I don't know, man. The Jaguars are just losers. I don't know how else to explain it. Just like when they need to make a play, they don't. And they handled the Dolphins in that first half. So much so that I was thinking they had won. And I didn't pick them to win this game. Nobody really did. The Dolphins in September in Miami and Florida with their sideline shaded and the other sideline not shaded. It's one of the biggest home field advantages in professional sports. So you think Dolphins are going to pull this out. The Jaguars are dominating the game. Dominating the game. But they just lost their heads. Dropped passes. Broken coverage. Second half malaise. And I feel like part of it was they had the victory right there with that Travis Etienne play. When I'm talking about the play where he busted a run, it's like he's a 10 to 12 yard run. He's about to go into the end zone. And the safety, just perfect Peanut Tillman punch out there. Great play from the Miami Dolphins safety there. And the ball is rolling through the end zone and the Dolphins recover it. 2 plays later is the Tyreek Hill touchdown. Just complete swing. Now, we've got win probability numbers for everything, but do we have them for within the play? Like, what was the win probability when Travis Etienne broke the line of scrimmage past the linebackers? He's got one guy to beat. He's about the 5-yard line. He's got one guy to beat into the end zone and has the angle on him. What was the win probability for Jaguars there? About to go up 24-7. Then, as he collided with the guy, and the guy Peanut Tillman punches it out, and the ball is rolling in the end zone, waiting to be recovered by a Jaguar or a Dolphin. What was the win probability right there? I want to see all of just the complete millisecond by second win probability as that oblong ball bounced around. So crazy. They were about to go up 24-7. Etienne fumbles into the end zone. Dolphins recover. 2 plays later is the Tyreek Hill touchdown, which was one of those Tyreek Hill touchdowns that only Tyreek Hill can make. His 90th career touchdown. It's the kind of play that's going to be on his Hall of Fame tape. Watching that play, I don't care how many 4-2, 4-3 guys you funnel into the league. Once they're in pads, once they're needing to make quick angle decisions and absorbs a level of contact, or be ready to absorb a level of contact, none of them are making that turn. None of them are turning that play into a touchdown. For every other 4-2, 4-3 guy in the past, present, or future, it feels like that's a 40-yard gain pushed out of bounds by the safety in the corner. Tyreek Hill gets that angle. I do not know how he did it. Just absolutely insane. Of course, he was in the news this morning for being detained on the way to the stadium, pulling an old Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler, of course, detained by the police before the PGA Championship, I think day 2 of the PGA Championship. And then Scheffler went on to win an Olympic gold medal and a tour championship. So if the Dolphins win the Super Bowl this year, we can point directly to 2 overzealous traffic cops really putting some waves in the sports world. Last thing I wanted to talk about today is Cleveland and the sadness within. DeShaun Watson looked horrible today, getting blown out by the Cowboys. And yeah, both tackles are out against Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. I don't think anyone expected huge numbers or even a win. But we're in year 3 of DeShaun Watson's guaranteed contract with the Browns. The Browns sold their souls to compete with Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen. They needed an elite quarterback. And they actually tanked their Super Bowl worthy roster by doing that. It's incredible. The exact opposite thing has happened. DeShaun Watson, he's airmailing receivers. He's holding onto the ball so long, not making decisions, no rhythm. And who knows how long it is before he just decides to sit. Last year, some real weird stuff with him because he's got that fully guaranteed contract. He sat out a couple games. He was called out by his coach, by his teammates, that he sat himself. Fully guaranteed. What does he care? What does he care? Not a great representation of the fully guaranteed contract movement. Football players should have fully guaranteed contracts. Baseball players do. But DeShaun Watson is just not the guy you want there. Not a particularly accountable man, based on the things him and his lawyers have admitted in certain sexual conduct investigations, versus his comments that he's innocent. Did you see the things that you said you did? You still say you're innocent. Okay, sure. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield's going off. This has to be a worst nightmare for Cleveland. As maybe this won't continue all year, right? I mean, DeShaun Watson will get his tackles back. The Browns won't always face the Cowboys. And Baker Mayfield had 289 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Commanders and a rookie, Jaden Daniels. So, yeah, we're talking week 1. We're spoiling. But if this continues, that's a dark, dark place for Cleveland fans. I mean, what if? we're building to a what if. Cleveland had just kept Baker Mayfield with their Super Bowl worthy roster that is now aging. What if they had just done that? All right. Well, my name is Miles. We'll be back tomorrow to review Jets 49ers, talk a little bit more week 1. Bye.